Is a Trey Lance trade coming soon? That's what we're talking about on today's San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for being here with us. If you read some of the tea leaves here, it looks as though the 49ers could, and the key word is could, potentially trade Trey Lance. And if you're Trey Lance, we're going to talk about this as well on today's show. Would you demand a trade? Because right now, Sam Darnold is getting first-team reps ahead of you. And if you want to reboot your career and go somewhere where you actually have an opportunity to see the football field, do you go to management and ask to be dealt? Also, stick around. 49ers Minicamp getting underway today. Deebo Samuel was very honest about his lack of production from last year and the physical condition that he was in. We have another Brock Purdy injury update. Nick Bosa talked, all of that and more. But first, let's begin with Trey Lance, because whenever a big move happens, including a Trey Lance trade, we're going to cover it right here on the show. That's why you subscribe to the San Francisco 49ers Report for daily and year-round coverage. You follow the paper trail here on why Lance could get dealt. According to Albert Breer, he had said that Brock Purdy is the favorite to start week one. Matt Mayoko of NBC Sports Bay Area said the same thing, but then retracted what he said and said it was an opinion piece. It wasn't a report, but either way, certainly interesting. Kyle Shanahan also said that Brock Purdy is ahead on his rehab schedule, and he has also said that he expects him to be ready for the regular season. So either way, Brock Purdy the favorite to start week one, not Trey Lance. The 49ers also worked out Jack Cohn, the former Notre Dame quarterback who just got done playing in the XFL. Why would they work out Jack Cohn? Because Brandon Allen has been really accurate throughout practices so far. He was Joe Burrow's right-hand man with the Cincinnati Bengals. Does that mean that a quarterback is going to get dealt and be off the roster, and you need to bring another quarterback in, and could that be Cohn? And then there's Sam Darnold in OTAs getting first-team reps. And with minicamp starting on Tuesday, he's also getting first-team reps. I understand that Kyle Shanahan had said that they are going to split the first-team reps between Darnold and Lance. But if you're Lance, you have to be fed up with this situation, right? He's going to play it cool. He's going to be a class act like he always is and say, look, I just want an opportunity to compete. But he's not getting an opportunity to compete. And that brings me to this. If I'm Trey Lance, I might politely go to the front office and ask for a trade. Because if the 49ers aren't even going to give him an opportunity to compete for the starting role, and they already know that Brock Purdy is going to start week one on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers, trade him, let him reboot his career. I think a change of scenery would certainly serve him well and allow him to get a fresh start. Because for Trey Lance, you're now entering year three, and you're at a point now where Sam Darnold is getting first-team reps, and the one thing that he needs to further his development in his NFL career is reps and game experience. He's started a combined 21 games going all the way back to 2019, and now he can't even get all of the reps with the first-team offense. And let's be real, Brock Purdy beating out Trey Lance is not an indictment on Lance. I'm bullish on his potential. He's 6'4", 225 pounds, really strong arm. In the limited snaps that we've seen, I think he's shown and displayed good pocket feel and good pocket mobility. Purdy beating out Lance is more so kudos to Brock Purdy. But if Purdy plays like he did in his rookie year, and the Niners think that he's going to be this team's starting quarterback for the foreseeable future, where does that leave Lance? And does he have an opportunity to even get any playing time? And what is his role on this football team? Because his role is already in question with Sam Darnold getting some of these first-team snaps. And this is now Lance's third season. He's been with this organization now going into his third year. Darnold has been with the team for 3 months, and Kyle Shanahan is giving him first-team reps when he knows that Trey Lance is green, he's raw, and he needs those reps in order to improve his game, work on the mechanical changes that he's made to his craft. Did the Niners just think that Trey Lance flat out stinks, and they have no confidence that he can actually be good in this league? Because if they were intrigued by his ability and they understood that this guy hasn't played a lot of football over the last several years, would they put him on the field as much as possible? And does it make sense to have Lance on the team as a backup quarterback with a cap hit of $9.3 million. That is a very, very tall asking price and price tag for a backup QB. That's not just this year, but it's also next year as well. You look at Trey Lance's contract in 2023, base salary of $940,000, a cap hit of 9.3, and then in 2024, it gets even more expensive. So again, if you think that Brock Purdy is going to be your team's starting quarterback, you're going to have a second stringer or maybe a third string quarterback who has a cap hit of 9+ and nearly $11 million over the next couple of years. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and that's why potentially a trade could happen. It's speculation. We're spitballing, but good businesses always look ahead. And other good businesses look out for trends, and they look out for indicators. We're trying to look out for an indicator here because something smells fishy to me. As for some teams that could call about Trey Lance, Tampa Bay Buccaneers currently have a quarterback competition going on between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. I'm more intrigued by Lance than I am those two aforementioned quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins heading into the final year of his contract. Trey Lance is from Minnesota. If they want to start anew and they think that they can mold Lance, that's another trade destination. The Atlanta Falcons, as of right now, are rolling with Desmond Ridder. I think that Lance is far more talented than Ridder. The Houston Texans, who the hell knows who their quarterback's going to be, but they have the Niners connections with D'Amico Ryans and Bobby Slowick, who used to be the Niners pass game coordinator and now is going to call the plays for that Texans offense. Davis Mills is their current starter. And one of my coworkers, Matthew Peterson, who hosts our Broncos channel, he did a show today talking about whether or not the Broncos should trade for Trey Lance to pair him up with Sean Payton and to start to prepare for the end of Russell Wilson if they try to eat some of that salary, then get out from underneath that large salary as well, because last year Russell Wilson stunk. Kyle Shanahan, when asked if there was any Trey Lance conversations with any teams today, he flat out said no. It was a one-word answer. All he said was no. But of course, you're always going to play it coy if you are flirting with the possibility of trading a player away because you always want to increase that value. Should the Niners trade Trey Lance? And do you want the Niners to trade Trey Lance? Let me know down in the comment section. I know a lot of people are split on this, so give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Really want to give a shout out to BetUS for being the best sports book in the game, but also making today's show possible. 125% deposit bonus if you plug in that link below me, chatsports.com/49bet, and use that promo code Niners125. You put in $100, you get $125 back. There are a bunch of NFL futures that you can bet on, like the Niners to win the NFC West, or in present day, NBA Finals MVP odds. If you're a basketball fan, Nikola Jokic leading the charge at -250, Jimmy Butler +400, Bam Adebayo, Jamal Murray, Gabe Vincent coming up after that. 125% deposit bonus. It's a great deal. You put in $100, you get $125 back. Niners Minicamp getting underway in Santa Clara today, and I just want to pass along some of the news items that are coming out of the practice facility. We did get our first look at Javon Hargrave in a Niners uniform. My man looks thick with 2 C's. That's a compliment, not trying to get weird. But look at the dude. Quadzilla, looking massive, 11 sacks last year. Nick Bosa was asked about his new defensive lineman teammate and said that he is in the category of Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. Now, I had said that, and some people called me crazy, but I wasn't wrong on that because the last couple of years, Javon Hargrave has been in that category. He had a better year last year than Aaron Donald, who was injured, and then Chris Jones had 15+ sacks. Hargrave had 11, which is a great number from a defensive tackle. He was great for Philadelphia in rushing the opposing quarterback, not great against the ground game. That's a little bit of a concern, but you can get away with that when you have a good linebacking core and good secondary like the Niners have. 11 sacks for Hargrave last year, 57 pressures, 40 hurries, and 10 tackles for loss. As for a new Brock Purdy injury update, I touched on that weirdness from NBC Sports Bay Area. They redid their site. Mayoko came out and said, I didn't report anything. It was an opinion piece. Then when I clicked on the link of that article that we talked about yesterday, it was gone from the website and very difficult to find unless you did a deep dive to find it. Either way, that's the weirdness from NBC Sports Bay Area. But Kyle Shanahan kind of backing up what was featured in that article as well as what Albert Breer said. Shanahan saying on Purdy's elbow, quote, right now, everything is on track. Shout out to Deebo Samuel for being blunt, frank, and honest about him being extremely disappointing in the 2022 season after he got the bag and landed that massive contract. He said his campaign last year was, quote, awful in every aspect. He said that he looked sluggish, and he also added that him and Kyle Shanahan the other day went through tape from some of last year's games, and he said, basically, I was embarrassed with how slow and out of shape I looked. He also said his contract was a distraction. Now, a lot of you might take issue with Deebo Samuel saying that. I'm giving him some credit for him being honest about him not performing well last year because he was a massive disappointment for this team. Not only did he look overweight, slow, sluggish, when he even admitted it, but he also was injured throughout that year because he wasn't in peak condition, and because of that, his numbers suffered. 56 catches, 632 yards, and 2 touchdowns. No way, no how should he be getting beat out by George Kittle with that receiving production. But for Deebo Samuel, hopefully that bad 2022 was able to motivate him to a certain degree. He comes back recharged in 2023, and he's able to play a lot like he did 2 years ago when he was an All-Pro and mentioned in the MVP conversation coming down the stretch. Nick Bosa contract latest. The other day I talked about this, that he's probably going to become the highest paid player in the history of the NFL on the defensive side of the ball, between $32 and $35 million. We floated the idea, like, if you're the Niners, do you think about trading him to get a haul back? I would not, because this dude is special. He said, I expect to get compensated, and I expect to get what I deserve. Nick Bosa, you're going to get paid, and I'm telling y'all right now, this contract extension is going to happen at the end of July or early August. That's when Nick Bosa is going to get the bag. He's going to overtake Aaron Donald as the highest paid defensive player in the history of this great game, and he's going to be a Niner for a really long time as one of the best edge rushers in the sport. It's only a matter of time. If you're ready for some Niners football, because you saw the image of Javon Hargrave, we're talking 49ers minicamp, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. Appreciate y'all for watching the show.